stuff. But in this next topic, it seems like there is potentially another Tesla killer that is coming out, and this time it is priced at 11,400 with a 251-mile range. When I saw this headline, I didn't believe it. If this actually came out in the USA market, because of course it is China, then that would definitely be a run for the money. Maybe. I mean, maybe it would be like a Chevy Bolt killer or a Nissan Leaf killer at the end of the day, but definitely some crazy stuff. But if you're just joining in, my name is Dennis. I love talking about Tesla hacking, as I like to call it, but basically just getting the best on Tesla at the best financing rate. So definitely hit that subscribe if you're interested. And so let us take a look at this. So shout out to Inside EVs, of course, and actually shout out to MAGBAK out right here at the top of the screen with their ad of all the different stuff. We've got the MAGBAK case right here. So shout out to MAGBAK. BYD Seagull EV priced from 11,400 gets 10,000 orders on the first day. Small hatchback. I mean, $11,000, I'm down for a small hatchback. 251-mile range. That's pretty stagnant. Of course, it's CLTC. So CLTC versus EPA is probably a lot lower. So you can see from this right here, it's about 35% higher than EPA. But even if you were to factor that 35%, that's what, like 70 miles. That's still a $11,000 EV that can still go, what, 180, 190 miles. I mean, the Nissan Leaf is not as cheap as 11,500, and the Chevy Bolt also not as cheap as 11,400, even if you factor in the 7,500 tax credits and all that stuff, because Chevy and Nissan are sold through dealers. And so you never know, you might not be able to get it at MSRP, but if you work hard enough, you might be able to find one at MSRP. But the BYD Seagull has the potential to become China's best-selling EV in 6 months, says analysts. I mean, there's a lot of buyers in the $11,000 range, and there's definitely would be a lot of buyers in the U.S. market in the $11,000 range as well. Even if they came out with this vehicle, I mean, they could undercut Nissan Leaf, they could undercut Chevy Bolt and a lot of different manufacturers. But this is interesting because we've never really heard of a vehicle priced in the teens or the low teens for that. I mean, even like the Tesla Model 2 that's been thrown around, like that's still like a $25,000 estimated type of vehicle, next gen vehicle, right? But BYD seems to have beaten Tesla to the punch. This seems like this is actually coming out, at least because the reservation orders and the reservation page is all out now. So this is definitely very interesting. That is for sure. And now that this has come out, maybe we'll see a $19,000 Tesla Model 2 or next generation vehicle for whatever that is. But I would buy this. I mean, if it came out in the US for $11,000, I mean, and it was $11,000 USD and it had these stats with a 180-mile range, it'd be a nice vehicle, kind of just to do errands in and zip around it, maybe even tow it just for fun. But I mean, that's very inexpensive. I mean, think about how many Model 3s you could get, or how many BYD Seagull EVs you can get with one Model 3. Like you get 3 or 4 essentially at the end of the day. But of course, definitely some pretty interesting stuff. Let me know what your thoughts on it. Let me know what you're thinking. Of course, this is the China market, and so converted to US, it's probably going to be like $20,000 or something similar to that. But definitely some pretty interesting stuff. We're going to jump into the live streaming comments, because that's the benefit, right? You can come in and ask anything you want, and I almost actually do respond to all comments down below in the videos as well. But before we do that, this video is actually sponsored by my Patreon link. Down below in the description, there's a Patreon link where you can support the channel. And after you join the Patreon, you get a link to my buying guide, which has all the links and credit unions and banks that I use to get the best possible deal at the best financing rate. Some of them even as low as 2.99% to 3.7%. So definitely check it out. Patreon link down below in the description. All right.